Bobby Fischer for beginners. The most famous chess player explained. By Renzo Ferber. We're going to be going into part 2 of Donald Bryne versus Fischer, 1956. Again, let's recap. So, we're going to be in New York, 1956. A 13-year-old Bobby Fischer is playing. So we're going to start with 1, knight to g1, f3, knight to gf, g8, f6, a loss of tempo at the bishop was already developed. A good alternative would have been 11, bishop to e2. Taking on a4 will rebound on white. After 12, knight time a4, knight time e4, queen to c1, black wins. With 13, bishop time f3, 14, g time f3, queen to a5 check. If then white interposes the knight on c3. The bishop on g5 is hanging. On the other hand, interposing the bishop on d2 will leave the knight hanging on a4. Taking on f8 with the bishop loses, as Gary Kasparov has demonstrated in his book, My Great Predecessors. White hasn't developed anything and black gets a devastating attack. 16, queen times c3, runs into 16, rook to f, e8, and white loses his bishop. Fischer has already offered sacrifices of 2 pieces on the 11th and the 13th move. Now he offers his queen. The point is a smothered mate after 18. Bishop time e6, queen to b5, check. 19, king to g1, knight to e2, check. 20, king to f1, knight to g3, check. 21, king to g1, queen to f1, check. 22, rook time f1, knight to e2, check. However, white takes the queen. After 18, queen times c3, queen times c5. Black also wins as the d4 pawn is pinned. That rook on d1 won't run away. 24, queen to a3, b4. Now it's over. Fischer has a rook and 2 pieces against White's queen. With this game, the 13-year-old Fischer became famous in one fell swoop. It immediately received the stamp of Game of the Century. The Icelandic newspaper did ask Fischer in 2007 what he thought was the best or most beautiful game. After some thought, he replied, "Probably the game I played against Donald Byrne in New York, 1956, which is sometimes called the Game of the Century. I took a risk with my 11th move. My opponent did not seem to have made a serious mistake, but very quickly ended up in a losing position. However, the perfect game doesn't exist, and this one wasn't perfect either." 7 years later, Fischer won an equally beautiful game against Donald's brother. See the next game.